Topic is a topic. It is a topic. Bless you. Is a topic of extreme importance. First of all, it's a very, very mature topic. So being that in mind, we are going to be using mature yet clean words to try to express ourselves. And when speaking about this topic, there are many people that will hear this and they'll most likely say, "Oh, what a fanatic! Is that crazy? How bad is it?" Right? By the way, I'm sure everybody here knows we're talking about the topic of wasting seed. So they're like, "Oh, you crazy? What's the problem?" You look at the medical, now it's healthy, it's supposed to be that. Generally speaking, and I'm not generalized, but I'm generally speaking on the generalization, those are the people that have issues with this sin. That's why they make such a big deal. It's not somebody who doesn't care about it. I'll give you an example. Somebody who who smokes a lot of weed. You ask him, is weed bad for you? Absolutely not. It's the best thing, it gives you, it relaxes you. You ask somebody else who never touches a cigarette or that, is weed bad for you? He's like, oh my God, it's poison. So it depends. The more someone's involved in it, they'll go all crazy. I'll be like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. So people are going to start saying, this is not true. This is crazy. This guy's a fanatic. Might be true also. But in this aspect of it, I'm going to source everything. So not only I will tell you these things, so you could source it, you could look up for it, you could also ask me afterwards if you want a particular thing. And what I'm saying, I'm not making anything up. I'm not trying to make something more severe than it is. I'm saying you as is according to the Torah. Rav Aaron Kotler said, that many people, they don't speak about this topic. Why? Because modesty. How do you speak about these things? It's supposed to be modest. This is what he says that people think. However, in a generation, he goes on, like ours, the severity of the impurity that goes on, that everything is exposed. Everybody speaks about everything in this generation. But the Torah people, no, we can't speak about things that are related to Kedusha, related to holiness. So, rather, Rav Aaron Kotler says that it's an absolute obligation to speak about these matters in public. The Kabbalist Rabbi Yaakov Abuchatzera, his grandfather learned with Reb Chaim Vital, which was a student of the Arizal. His grandson was the Baba Sali. So you're talking about a big, strong line of Kabbalists, that he says that all the terrible things that fall upon the Jewish people, in the Parashat Bechukotai, it says a lot of curses, these all stem from sexual transgressions. And in fact, our sages said that the majority of man's suffering, either you could say disease, pestilence, war, poverty, famine, are all related to transgression of the brit. That when we say the brit, we're talking about the circumcision area. So, the halakha is in Shulchan Aruch that it is 100% forbidden to discharge semen in vain. And this is a graver sin than any of the other sins mentioned in the Torah. And there are many times that I've spoken in places where people are, coming closer to Judaism. And I'm just as a whim, I'll say, it just popped into my head, every so often, and be like, the severity of wasting seed. And they were like, wait, what's wasting seed? And I'd be like, I'll explain what it is. And be like, wait, that's a problem? Nobody tells these things people in Judaism because nobody speaks about it. It's how are people supposed to know about it? Rather, you're supposed to speak about it. You're supposed to, prevent people from falling into these issues. It's very interesting because people don't speak about two things. For men, they don't speak about this. For women, they don't speak about modesty. The two things that they need to hear, that's why people don't speak about it. Why? People like to be liked. No one likes to be, this guy's a fanatic, this guy's crazy. So it is important to speak about these things. I also pray to God that I will be able to present this information correctly, appropriately, and hopefully to help people prevent from this sin, not only for themselves, but also for others. The Pele Yoetz says like this. He says that, in his time, that it's quite common for young people to do this type of sin. And where does it come from? From the ignorance. People just don't know. Especially you live in an environment that it's not frowned upon, especially from the secular world, as it should be. So, there's no problem. So no one knows about it. And he says there's an obligation that people have to warn people about it. The severity, you want to hear his words and I'll quote it. The severity of this matter, you have to warn them until they tremble from fear. So get ready tonight to be trembling from fear. All right. There are a few speakers that actually speak about it. You have, for example, I have a close friend, Rabbi Yaron Ruven, who speaks about it. Rabbi Mizrahi speaks about it. There's not too many speakers I've found in English that speak about it. In Hebrew, you actually do find a lot. For Israelis, for people who speak Hebrew, you find a lot. But for some reason, in the English-speaking world, it's spoken about, randomly places, but it's not as often as I think it should. I will let you know that last time I gave this class, it took me 6 hours. So I'm giving you, it was 2 Friday nights, 3 hours, one after another. So we're going to do we're going to have to give a lot of over information all that span of time. Rav Moshe Feinstein says like this. He says that wasting seed is a sin from the Torah. Don't think of it like a rabbinical prohibition. It's like, like those people will be like, you can't do this. Well, Rabbi said I can't do it, or the Torah says I can't do it, as if it's going to make a difference. But this one, in particular, is 100% from the Torah. It's not. And the Gemara says Rav Moshe Feinstein, that if someone sins in this, you deserve death from heaven for this thing. And the halacha says that this is more severe than any of the other sins in the Torah. Hey guys, welcome. So, everybody in this, how are you? No problem. Everybody in this sin, in this test, they all have different levels. There are some people that they're like addicts to this. They can't stop. They're addicted to it, and it's a very big problem. Other people have the problem, but it's not as much severe. To everybody, according to their level, they need to go and they need to fight and they need to accomplish as much as they can in this. The Chazon Ish says that the main purpose of a person coming down to this world is to perfect matters of Kedusha. And the Shevet HaLevi says also that you could tell, the spiritual level of a person depends very strongly on the purity of his soul. And I know I've speaking to many people that, when did they grow? When did these people decide that they're going to have the ability to grow spiritually? When they break up with their girlfriends, when they break up with or if it's girls, when they break up with their boyfriends, that's when they have the ability to grow. And I've spoken to people here, especially people that go to Israel, for example. They go to Israel, they want to learn, but they have, they're there, they're free, they go and they hang out with girls and do that. How could you learn? How could you grow? How could you, especially if you're younger, you can't, it overtakes your entire life. 24/7, you're texting. You don't stop. And about what? I don't know, just emojis. Just like all day emojis. Thumbs up, thumbs down, peace, heart. Hopefully that's as far as it goes. But it's just a complete waste of time. But it also it holds you back from growing. And our generation has a stronger test than it was in previous generations. Because now you have the ability to look at all these pictures, all these things, without any, on your phone, in the privacy. You don't have to go on even if you want to go 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when everybody had to go on a computer if you actually wanted to, or you had to go out of the house. Here you go under your covers, you have no problem. As opposed to 30 years ago, where you even had to leave your house, you have to buy certain things, you have to go to certain places. So the Satan is making it very, very easy to sin. So it's becoming more and more difficult in our generation. However, says the Gemara in Yuma, page 39a, that if a person tries a little bit by himself, he gets help from heaven. So all you have to do is you have to start. You have to start. You'll see you get elevated. The Midrash Bamidbar Rabbah says as follows in chapter 15, verse 12. It says that God doesn't elevate a person. Everybody wants promotion in life. Anybody not want promotion in life? Everybody wants promotion in life. You want God to be like, hey God, throw me a bone, give me a promotion. God, it says in the Midrash, God doesn't give a promotion, doesn't elevate a person until first a person is tested. And he gives proofs, the Midrash. First by Abraham. Abraham was tested with 10 tests, and then he got the blessing. What it says, Hashem be'echet Abraham b'kol. And Hashem gave, it says in Bereshit, in Genesis, chapter 24, verse 1, that God blessed Abraham with everything. Where is this? After all the 10 tests. Yitzchak was harassed by Abimelech. After that, Vayizra Yitzchak ba'aretz ahi vayivarechu Hashem. And God blessed Yitzchak after this thing. Yaakov also, he was tested with Esav, with Lavan, with Dinah, with Yosef. And then after that, it says in Genesis chapter 35, verse 9, it says, and God blessed him after all these things. Yosef also, we see Yosef with Potiphar. He didn't get promoted to this viceroy until after he got tested with the wife of Potiphar. And we see this also in Genesis chapter 45, verse 4. It says, when Yosef saw his brothers, he told them, he says, Gishuna alai, come closer to me. And says Rashi, what did he say, come closer? He showed him his circumcision. What does that mean that he showed him the circumcision? Which means is that the brothers realized that now Yosef, he was the most powerful, most successful, most wealthiest person on the entire planet. And he's sitting over there, they're like, how did you get to there? Like, what's your secret of your success? What merit did you have to get you to that? So he showed them his brit, saying that I guarded my brit. I did not go and I did not do any pgam, any defect on my brit, which means I guarded the whole sexual, purity, and therefore I merited to go and become the viceroy, the second, the most wealthiest man in that time. The Satan tries very, 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 very hard to make someone sin in this matter, and if he can't get you to sin intentionally, he'll try to get you to sin unintentionally. Because what happens is, the Midrash Tanchuma in Parshat Vayikra says, when someone sins unintentionally, you sort of open a opening that now the Satan can get you even intentionally. So sometimes people sin accidentally, intentionally. They'll be like, oh, whatever, it wasn't so bad. But if you don't do tshuva on that you just open the door for the Satan. So the Satan, imagine like you walk in the door and, the Mossad agent behind you, it's like, you open the door and then the Mossad agent just like slips in and then you turn around but there's like nothing there and the door closed, but the Mossad agent is still inside. Like, he's under your control now. You're under his control now, better yet. So the same idea, you do a sin unintentionally, you open the door, the Satan comes in, and if you don't fix it, the Satan is able to get you intentionally as well.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.